Good morning, guys. I wanted to talk to you about something that is very close and dear to my heart, something that is fairly misunderstood about my position, and I wanted to take a moment to be able to clarify that position and tell you guys something that I'm working on. I know that you all are very, very sensitive to your freedom and your liberty, and you want to be protected and all of that. And I believe that if we play this initiative right, we can really make some things happen. We all know that there's a tremendous amount of misinformation out there. We know that our system is being overwhelmed. We know that it's being overwhelmed on purpose. I think the Cloward and Piven strategy, for those of you that have not read it, you probably need to read it. What I'd also like you to be able to do is print a copy of that and actually share it with your police chief or your sheriff to be able to help them understand that they are in the middle of they are being put in the middle, like the constitutional liberty-minded people, to be at enmity with one another that is being created by someone that perhaps is controlling us both. In an effort to be able to try to expose this misinformation and this character assassination and this overwhelming the system, I believe that it's absolutely crucial that we reach out to law enforcement, and I believe that we're a little bit late in doing this, and I probably should have urged you guys to be able to help me out a year ago when I had began this mission. But I thought, well, maybe I can just do what I can on my own and just kind of reach out as I travel the state and meet with some of these people. Again, the Cloward and Piven strategy is pretty clear on the overwhelming of the system to be able to destroy capitalism, which is the ultimate goal. I believe here is part of that. The media loves to put the police and the citizens against one another, specifically the constitutional liberty-minded citizens and the cops against one another. I think they would love nothing more than to be able to see us to see us fight with one another. Obviously, we know that it won't end well for both of us. More so for us because they're the ones with the power. But I wanted to be able to share this information with you, this agenda that I wanted to pull off, and basically what it is doing is falling on the heels of the information that I've gained for the last year, visiting with these police chiefs and these sheriffs. Now, the attempt was to be able to meet every police chief and every sheriff in the entire state, but I have fallen way short of that because I just haven't had the time to be able to make it. What I'm ultimately looking for is somebody to be able to create an Excel spreadsheet for me that actually has the police chief and the sheriff for every county and every city in the state, and to be able to send that to me if you're any good with Excel. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to track who is going to be visiting which sheriff and which police chief and what kind of information can be shared with them. The information that I'm actually suggesting is something that you probably should go look at. Because it's already geared toward this particular situation, and it's from the John Birch Society, called the Support Your Local Police to Keep Them Independent. This initiative began originally in 1965 when we noticed the federal incrementalism into local law enforcement, and now we see it as Jackson and Obama and the Department of Justice are calling out for the federalization of law enforcement. Which is very, very dangerous. I think aside from what political party that you may be on, I believe that both sides believe to varying degrees that the federal government is very, very difficult to hold accountable. And I wanted to bring this to mind as what it would be like if we had the federalization of police where we had that same kind of accountability. Now, many would say, well, why would I support those, effing cops or whatever? And I'm just regurgitating what I see on Facebook. And the idea is simply this. There are some things that we're forgetting. One of those things is that, abuses happen by people and by individuals. Just because you have a rogue police officer, that doesn't necessarily mean the entire force is corrupt any more than you have a constitutionalist that happens to go rogue, demonizing the entire constitutional liberty movement. What I want to be able to do is to take this information, have you guys read it. You can go to jbs.org and click on action items, and you can go to support your local police. You can read about it. They've got new DVDs coming out. They've got a new magazine, a new American magazine that's going to be coming out August or September to help promote this. But I want to be able to create a preemptive, targeted effort to be able to reach out to them, to be able to let them know that the information that they're getting and the fear tactics and the overwhelming tactics that are being used against them are to hurt them. What I mean by that is to actually hurt them and the citizens, bringing enmity between both of us by an entity that is controlling both. Now, you can leave that up to your own mind to decide what you want to do, but through a limited amount of research, what we can find out, though, is that the local police departments are getting their information, their free training from the federal government, and the federal government is actually the DHS, the TSA, the NSA, and some of these other things are actually getting their information that they consider viable intel from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, you don't have to, it's not, the John Birch Society has information covered. You can go to their website and you can type on the search tab, or you can just do a basic Google search. Basically, what you'll also find is something quite interesting, that there's a FOIA request that actually by the federal government or by a citizen that shows that the information that the Department of Homeland Security gets is actually from the Anti-Defamation League and many sources from the support from your Southern Poverty Law Center. What you also may find out too is that the Southern Poverty Law Center and some of its people involved in there appear to be linked to the American Lawyers Guild, which has been stated to be having ties to the Communist Party USA. So when you take all of this information and you kind of line it up and you take a look at it, what you realize is that if the information is actually correct and the information actually comes from the Communist Party USA and is being fed to our local federal government, what we're finding out is that this information is extremely dangerous to American liberty, and it is extremely difficult for us to find our way back. So what we're trying to do is reach out to our local police department. We need to let them know we love them. We need to remember that just because that they have a uniform and just because they have a badge, there's a father and a son behind that badge. There's a mother and daughter behind that badge. These are people that go to work every day that believe that what they're doing is good. They may have no idea of the Constitution. They may not have any idea about the limitations on power. But that is our fault because we have not remained vigilant in making sure that they've been given this information. So it's absolutely critical that when we go after these guys, and I use that term loosely, we need to make sure that we do it with kindness, and we need to be approachable. We need to try to be offered to be a resource for these people, to be able to offer an alternate perspective to help them understand what is happening, because they are being targeted as much as we are. And so the very idea that they feel like they need military weapons should be very, very clear to the American citizens that they fear something. And they actually fear that we're the enemy, because the Post Academy allegedly is telling them that every day that they put on their badge, they're going home in body bags. Now I'm going to ask you something. If you were trained to believe that every day that you went out to work that you were going to come home in a body bag, wouldn't you want that extra protection as well? So the idea is, guys, we're going to launch the Support Your Local Police initiative. We want to make it happen. We want to protect Idaho. We want to protect our law enforcement officers from a Baltimore. We want to protect it from a Ferguson. We want to buffer ourselves from the rest of the nation as it falls into these communist propaganda, progressive, cloud and piven, overwhelming garbage that's going to completely destroy our country and every state in it. So if you have any questions, I'd love to be able to hear from you. You guys can contact me on Facebook, and we can go from there. But I'm going to need some help. If you guys are up for it, please let me know. Give me your name and your phone number. You can private message me that or call me if you have my number. I don't mind publishing my number publicly, but if you want it, just ask for it, and I'll go ahead and publish it. So, you guys, we got some work to do. We got to save ourselves from the tyranny from the feds that are coming down and imposing their indoctrination on our local agencies. So God bless you guys. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.